Sabres get a win over a really good team. So could this be the start of a win streak? We'll talk about the Sabres win over the Stars coming up here in the Locked On Sabres podcast.
Your Locked On Sabres, your daily podcast on the Buffalo Sabres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thanks for making Locked On Sabres your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including our YouTube channel where you can watch the show. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Sneaky Joe DiBiase on today's show following a second consecutive Sabres victory. They are maybe going to start a win streak here. We'll see. Back-to-back wins, this time over a really good Stars team. It got a little hairy at the end, but some really nice moments, and overall great effort. Get into it all. Talk about some of the studs of this game, including a great game by Owen Power, Tage Thompson, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. There's really a long list of players that I thought played really well on this night for the Buffalo Sabres. Stats of the game coming up as well. So be sure to check us out on our text line. If you are not a part of our Locked On Sabres text club already and you would like to sign up, you can do that by going to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnSabres, where this morning we would have just thrown a little update in there for you from practice this morning following the win. Only one little thing to talk about, which is that Zach Benson was absent. He sat down with Lindy Ruff. Lindy and Benson talked about how he's not at 100% right now. They want to get him back to 100% rather than playing through it. So he took the game off last night, took practice off this morning. They don't play again until Saturday, so he does have a couple of days in between. And also, the Sabres really don't need to be in a rush to bring Benson back into the lineup because I think they have an awkward lineup decision to make once he comes back, and especially when Aube-Kubel comes back, which is maybe going to be this weekend, and if not, soon after. They're going to have some awkward decisions to make, but more on that coming up in the coming days between now and Saturday at 1 o'clock, which will be their next game against Detroit. But let's dive right in on this game that the Sabres won over the Dallas Stars back at home. It's the first of 4 at KeyBank Center in a row, and it went as well as you pretty much could have hoped for. I was going to this game. I went to this game, and I was mentally bracing for a classic Tuesday night, not a lot of fans in the building, and you get a game against a great team, and you just get run through. That is not what happened. And it also wasn't really a lucky win by the Sabres. I thought they played really well. I thought for long stretches of this game, they were the better hockey team. If you look at how a lot of the shot charts looked as the game progressed, if you look at how the expected goals went as the game progressed, shot attempts, quality of shot, like everything as you look at like as the game went on, it was Dallas slightly, Sabres for like a period of time, then back to Dallas, then back to the Sabres, and then Dallas took it over at the end. Like it was pretty even before the Stars pulled their goalie in the final 5 minutes, I thought, in terms of the overall play of the two teams. To my eye, I thought the Sabres outplayed them, if I'm being real. I thought the Sabres had the more dangerous of the chances. I think Dallas did have some. They hit a post. They had a couple of opportunities they just completely flubbed. They had a 2-on-0 at one point where they had a shooter, Marchment, I think, missed an open net. So the Sabres got some breaks on the other side too, but I thought they had the better chances in this one. And I thought, really, all 4 lines played pretty well. And that was an overall team effort led by a couple of stars, got a great performance out of your goaltender. Their second line still can't score, but they played better. Their power play still can't score, but they played better. They only had one opportunity, but the Sabres came closer on that power play to scoring than at any other point during the season. So overall, not a lot for me to be upset with other than what happened at the end of the game. They almost blow it. They are up 3-0 with under 6 minutes to play. Dallas decides, let's pull the goalie real early. We don't have anything to lose. Let's go. And they score with a little over 4 minutes to play, or a little over 3 minutes to play, and it's okay. They're still good. I thought I jinxed them, actually, because I'm sitting in the seats, and I say I've got Peterka on an anytime goal bet, and of course also on parlay from yesterday's show. So empty net for 5 minutes. I'm thinking, all right, here we go. JJ Peterka. This is how I get it. I get a backdoor cover with an empty net goal. So I thought I jinxed them because I'm watching the Cozens line out there, and they're coming real close. They are getting into opportunities. And in my mind, I'm thinking they've won the game already. It's over. Get me the Peterka empty netter. Don't score this one. Wait till next shift until Peterka can get out there. And that almost bite them in the you-know-what because they needed an empty net goal there. And the guy that I thought played better in this game, wasn't the best player on the ice, but played a better game, but still can't find the back of the net, is Dylan Cozens. Dylan Cozens on that empty net goal, he's shooting the puck from the right wall, and well, I guess from where I'm sitting, it was the right wall. From TV perspective, might have been no, it would have been the right too. Short, but close to the close wall. Cozens has got the whole net, and he misses it. He's got space, and he's not that far away. It's not a full length shot. Bam, post. And in that moment, it's like, this guy is so snake bitten. And there was a moment in the first period where he almost scored a highlight reel goal as his first goal of the season, where he comes down 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, I guess, but he's taking the defenseman 1-on-1, and he's got two choices. He could either cut in and go hard to the net up the middle, or he could try to find a way to go around this defenseman on the outside. And he does the toe drag with your backhand, which I guess doesn't make it a toe drag, but that little move he has off his own skate, goes around the defenseman, cuts out in front, and then the shot gets saved by Ottinger. It was almost a highlight reel goal for his first of the season. So I thought Cozens was better in this game, but he still can't find the back of the net. But just, you know what? On the big picture here, I want to go through some of the goals when we come back, some of the big moments from the Sabres in this game. They needed to win this game. They needed to get out in front of this homestand with a good result. You've now won 2 in a row. I mean, it's a check of the standings right now. I know it's very early on. We're a 10th of the way in. It's 8 games into the season, but just like that, 7 points in 8 games. Not as bad, not the sinkhole that we looked at them in when they were 0-3. They're 3-1-1 in their last 5 games, which has them tied with Boston with 7 points. Boston's only played 1 fewer game. It's not like 5 fewer games. They are 1 point behind Toronto, who's played 1 fewer game. They are 2 points back of Florida for first place in the Atlantic Division, and they've played the same amount of games. So they're keeping pace. You know, they're not jumping out ahead, which would be nice, but they are keeping pace. They're not falling way behind with these back-to-back wins and 3 of the last or if you go in the last 5 games, 7 of your last 10. 7 points in your last 10 is a good way to look at it. That has them where they are right now, which it doesn't look as devastatingly terrible as we thought this start of the season could look. So I'm feeling good. 1 over a bad team in Chicago on Saturday, 1 over a good team on Monday against the Stars. They will need to beat good teams. And that opens up the door here for a nice little win streak, because last year it was a thing. They didn't win long stretches of games in a row. They never had a win streak of more than 3 games. Well, now you could look at the Sabres schedule and you could see that they've got opportunities here against a pretty so-so Detroit team. At best, I'm saying so-so. I'm being kind by saying that. Florida's tough, and then the Islanders, a team you should beat that you never do beat, but you should beat. So get me through this homestand, win 2 of the 3, wins the game, win the games you should. Win against Detroit, win against the Islanders, take 6 of the 8 away on this homestand, and I think it's going to be a pretty good feeling for the Sabres. The top line is the thing that has me feeling the most hopeful, though, this morning. The top line of Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch, and JJ Peterka just looks so dangerous every time they're on the ice. And they're a pain to play against defensively. None of those guys, maybe Tuch, are thought of as like stalwart defensive players, but This was the thing we talked about a little bit last year with Thompson. That Thompson, when he was struggling early on in the season last year scoring, there was a thing about how, but look how much better his defense got. And that didn't quite hold up over the course of the season, but he improved. Thompson, when he's healthy and moving around and throwing his weight around and has that long stick, the Sabres, you can't hesitate against that top line because Tuck is a viper when it comes to forechecking. He's so good at it. He flies that stick out at moving 20 miles per hour, and you can't do anything about it. Thompson is the same thing where if he's getting moving, he's got that long 6'7" reach. Just he covers so much space. And then Peterka with his speed and isn't that small either. Like you kind of have three guys where you got to be on your toes because if you hesitate for a second, they're on you so quickly because they're long and they're fast. So I'm looking at that top line a lot when it comes to that element. When they have the puck, they're seemingly knowing where each other are. They're making crisp passes. They're getting opportunities. The top line looks like something that could really carry this group. Something we talked about a little bit earlier in the week when it came to the Thompson and Peterka combo. But quietly, it's not Thompson and Peterka, but it's Tuck that leads them in scoring right now through 8 games. 9 points in 8 games for Alex Tuck. Tage right behind him at 8 points in 8 games with 5 goals. He scores in this game now on a 50-goal pace. We'll talk more about that goal and the other 2 goals. All the goals. And I want to include the empty netter in this because there was a very impressive play on the empty netter. All that coming up here on the Locked On Sabres podcast following a Buffalo Sabres win. We are presented here on the show by Gametime. So Gametime, funny story yesterday about Gametime. I get tickets through work a bunch through WGR, and the other day they asked, hey, anyone want tickets? I'm like, yeah, I'll get tickets to the Tuesday game. Not looking, I guess there weren't tickets to this game that we had at work, but there were games the next Friday. I didn't check that. I just thought, oh, Tuesday, here we go. I download the tickets. I didn't look. So we get to the arena, and I look at my phone and realize, oh, crap. These tickets are for next Friday. So now me and my wife are standing at the arena, right in front of the arena before we got there, and we don't have tickets to this game. And it's 15 minutes before puck drop. It's 6:45. So what do? Grab my phone, open up the Gametime app, and you know what? It's this close to puck drop, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes it might even be a little coincidentally beneficial because you get some great deals right before puck drop. And that's exactly what there was. There were a bunch of great options for tickets. There were a bunch of deals right before puck drop because they're available right up to puck drop and sometimes even after the puck has dropped for the Sabres. So that's what I did. Got my tickets on Gametime. Went into the arena, watched the Sabres beat the Stars 4-2. Great night. And it happened because I had the Gametime app ready to go right there in my pocket. So that's a great element of it is that you have that option right up until the game starts. They've got your super deals on Gametime. Gametime picks makes tickets getting even easier. They filter out all the fluff to show you the incredible deals on great seats. So you have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. All in pricing on Gametime. That was the other thing. They show you the fee price right there. This is what it is with fees. We're not going to show you one price and then you get to check out and then there's this additional whatever. They're just going to right up front. Here you go. This is how much it costs. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. Sneaky Joe DiBiase back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen. Sabres beat the Stars 3-0, 3-4-1 on the season. Go get a win in Detroit. Let's get back to 500 here. Let's go through some of the goals in this game. But actually, before we do that, I've got my sneaky. Oh, no, I'll save that. Sneaky stars of the game we'll save for the third segment of today's show because I want to talk about one of those individuals in particular. If you're watching the show on YouTube, you can look right over here at the bar and know who that is. For the rest of you, I'm going to save it. Goals in this game. Sabres win the game. I thought you had some real nice plays on all of these goals. Let's start right away with the 1-0 goal scored by the Buffalo Sabres, and it's going to be Peyton Krebs getting his first of the season. and rewarding some nice play. Krebs has been good, I think, this season. He's playing his role, but he's chipping in a little bit of offense here and there. Krebs in, 7 games played so far this season? I mean, Cozens is sitting on 2 assists in 8 games. Krebs now has 3 points in 7 games. So gets the goal, and that's, by the way, playing a lot less than Cozens, a lot less than others. Only averaging 10 minutes and 56 seconds per night. So this goal by Krebs, he starts it. He gets the puck into the zone, and that fires up the whole thing. Tuck is on the ice. I think there was a little bit of a shuffle there because of the power play right before. So Tuck's on the ice with Krebs and Malin. And this play is about working the edges, working the wall, and doing it with speed, keeping the puck flowing, not getting it stuck and having the play kind of die out there. Krebs gets in the zone, and this is where Tuck's speed comes into play. He flies around behind the net, comes up on the left half wall, and he doesn't have a star in front of him because the stars just they can't catch him. And then it's a cycle play. It's just a good textbook cycle play. Tuck around from behind the net, works it up the wall to Byram, who's at the point. He flies it over quickly to Power, who's loaded for the one-timer. And this is where it's just a textbook hockey goal. You work the wall, you get it, feed it to the point, you set up the shot, and while that whole play is being set up, Malenstein and Krebs head to the net. And they're going to cause some chaos in front there, which is why Power shot gets saved, but it puck goes up in the air, goes off the crossbar, and who's standing right there ready to capitalize? It's Peyton Krebs, who does have to knock it out of the air. So great hand-eye coordination from Krebs on the goal. But he kind of slips in behind Ottinger, puts that puck in, and the Sabres have the 1-0 lead in the second period. And then, only 83 seconds later in this game, Ryan McLeod, 4th goal of the season. He continues to impress to start this year and make everyone feel a lot better about that Matt Savoy for Ryan McLeod trade in the summer, at least thus far. Although I will have to say everybody should lay off Matt Larkin from the Hockey News, who, yes, did compare that trade to Philip Forsberg for Martin Erat 10 years ago. I would just want to say, maybe before you're ready to drag our buddy Matt Larkin, who's one of the great hockey writers, I think, in the league, maybe just give it like 20 games, 30 games before you're willing to do that. It's been 4 games. Or it's been 8 games, to be fair. But McLeod here, anyways, McLeod was great, though. This is a great play by him, and he continues to look like the Sabres' second best centerman. So let's start the play, though, with the puck and the neutral zone, because this is where the play begins, where the goal begins. Owen Power, it's a secondary assist. And you know what? Sometimes, and I'll do this, secondary assists are looked down upon because a lot of times you're not contributing as much to the goal as the primary assists. But other times it's key. It's vital to the play. That's what happened here. Owen Power makes a long stretch pass out of his own end, right on the tape, up across the ice on the right side to Jason Zucker. It starts the whole thing. And Zucker has time and space because of the pass Power has made. Now Zucker comes into the zone. And good job by him. This is where sometimes you got to know, you have to have feel for the game. You don't always want to just shoot to the net as fast as you can and go around in front. I won't call him out by name. He's listening. He knows who I'm talking about. I used to play hockey with a guy who was great player, scored a lot of goals, really fast. He'd run away from his teammates where he's so fast and he knows he could score that he gets it and like, go. I got to get right to my spot and I got to get a scoring opportunity. And he sometimes wouldn't allow his line mates to catch up to him if they're open and join the play and create an odd man rush or create a different scoring opportunity. That's what happens here. Zucker has the patience and the mind to know, I'm not going to take this guy one-on-one because all it takes is a glance to the left by Jason Zucker to see, oh, Ryan McLeod has beat his man to his spot. Like a rocket, Ryan McLeod from the neutral zone gets ahead of his defender. And this is one of the skills and one of the great traits of Ryan McLeod. If he beats you to the spot in the neutral zone and he has open ice in front of him, you're not catching him from behind. It's over. You're dead to rights. If you let him get in front of you, you are dead to rights. And that's exactly what happened here. McLeod creates the space by getting in front of him. He makes it easy for Zucker. Zucker doesn't even really have to sauce it. He just has to put it out in front of him, right on the tape, and then Ryan McLeod does the rest by finishing on the back door there to make it a 2-0 game. It's a great overall goal. That line has been very impressive. Zucker, by the way, his 5th assist of the season, hasn't scored yet, but 5 assists in 8 games. It's an overall great play by those 3. It's Power making the long stretch pass. It's Zucker slowing the play down a little bit, letting McLeod jump up into the play, and it's McLeod for beating his man to the spot, and then with his elite speed, getting out in front and finishing the goal for his 4th of the season. Great play overall. I loved that play so much because all 3 guys involved, I thought, had made really smart plays that contributed to making it 2-0. 3-0. Now we go to the third period. 4:17 into the third period. Tage Thompson's 5th of the season, and this is just a bomb from the left side. But it's, again, a play that starts before that. Thompson wins a 50-50 battle in the neutral zone. Him and the Dallas player are trying to get ahead there and get into a rush. And Thompson wins the stick battle. So now he's coming in, and it's a nice little zone entry. He comes in on the right, but then he kind of fades to the left and spins, knowing that Power is going to be trailing in behind him, spins to get the pass to Power, and then immediately, this is a field play by Tage, he opens himself up for the give and go. And Power just does his thing with a great pass right in the wheelhouse, and then from there, it's just blast off, right? It's just Thompson just lean into it, 94.3 mile per hour slap shot, one-timer, and that made it 3-0. So all 3 of the 5-on-5 goals that the Sabres scored in this game were impressive, especially the McLeod and the Thompson one, because you had a lot of smart plays involved. Tage deserves so much credit for his goal because not only did he score it, but he set up Power to set him up. He really deserves the secondary assist on this one. Tuck's the one that gets it. Then Tuck, by the way, empty netter. The one thing I just wanted to shout out of this goal is I always talk about how good a forechecker Tuck is. Tuck just, I see the puck carrier coming up from his own zone, and Tuck shoots him with speed. He's got his long stick, creates a turnover, and it creates the empty net goal. So Tuck, his forechecking ability continues to be one of the best in hockey, and I think the best in hockey. Him and McDavid, baby. All right, those are the goals from this game. So I was very impressed with all of them. We won't get into the Stars goals. 6-on-5, you have a flub goal that goes off of Jason Zucker's stick. What can you do? Another play that kind of finds its way past everybody. There's one guy in the ice that sees it, and of course it's Tyler Seguin who's in the right spot. Let's burn the tape on those 2 Stars goals. When we come back, I want to talk about the guy that I thought was the best player on the night. Owen Power and where his game is. That when we come back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We are presented on the show by PrizePicks. So you could do this with hockey, but you could do it with football, baseball. There's a lot going on right now. PrizePicks, you can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks, the best way to get action on sports. In over 30 states, PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. So your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action, over 10 million users, and you can sign up today. PrizePicks puts its members first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my pick said I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, LOCKEDONNHL is the code. Download the app. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Check it all out at PrizePicks. Sneaky Joe DiBiase back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We're also brought to you on the show by FanDuel Sportsbook. My parlay did not hit last night. Paterka did not find the back of the net, but that's all right. We got to hit like one every 20 to make those count. And I'm feeling it. I'm going right back to the Paterka well in our next game. So those odds will be up at FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, it's not just the Sabres. You've got football going on right now. You've got the World Series. If you want to check out the odds, or if you want to check out the box score, if you want to watch if you can't watch the Sabres game, and maybe you want to keep up, if you have to, just do a quick errand and you want to keep up with the game, they have the live play-by-play feature right there in the FanDuel app, so you can keep track of what's going on. FanDuel, right now, they're offered $200 of bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Again, $200 of bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's at FanDuel.com. Sneaky Joe DiBiase on the Locked On Sabres podcast. All right, let's get to my sneaky stars of the game, and we're going to start with the goaltender. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in this game. By the way, in the graphic there on YouTube, correction, it was not a shutout. Jumped the gun there. 28 saves, though, by Luukkonen. A .933 save percentage. Those couple that got in on him late. I thought he was very strong in this game. Couple of really big key saves on Dallas. The one that I'm thinking about the most was in the second period, where Luukkonen is out and he challenges the shooter, makes the save, then follows the play after because both Sabre defensemen have run past the rebound. And now Luukkonen, in a spot where he probably shouldn't be asked to make the next save, has to make the next save, and he does. So Luukkonen is definitely, to me, one of the 3 stars of this game. I got Thompson as one of the 3 stars of this game. Game high, 86.6% expected goals for percentage. Scored that big clap bomb goal. Got an assist on the empty netter. The little chip ahead to Tuck. So a 2-point night for him. Thompson, I thought, was incredible in this game. But then my number 1 player for this game was Owen Power. Owen Power in this game, 3 assists. He played 21 minutes, 16 seconds of ice time. Only him and Dahlin went over 20 minutes on the entire Sabres roster. Power was in command of this game. And command is the word I always like to use for Power, because when or if he ever becomes an elite defenseman, that's what it's going to look like. The guy I'll always use to compare him to is Victor Hedman, because Victor Hedman was also a top 2 pick. He was second. He was also 6'6", big frame. Also took 4 years to get going in the NHL to where he is now. And very similar playing styles. Power in this game looked like Victor Hedman to me. He looked patient. He looked like he was in charge of the flow of the game. If he wanted to slow the play down, if he wanted the pace of play to slow down, Power was going to slow the whole ice down. If he wanted to speed things up, like he did on that Zucker pass to get it going on that 2-on-1, he was going to get that going too. He also had the big shot, and I've been talking about that since the regular season began, maybe even the preseason. Power shot is heavier and better than it has been, and that's an example right there. There's enough on that slap shot to get it so that even though Ottinger gets a piece of it, it still gets behind him and hits the crossbar. Krebs ends up scoring, but, I mean, we're talking about a centimeter lower, and we're giving Power the goal on that play. Just all in all, I thought a great game. I thought he was throwing his body around a little bit more. That's not often my complaint of Powers. You do hear that from fans, though, a lot. Why at 6'6", 220, can't this dude throw his weight around a little bit more? In this game, I saw him throw some pretty nice hits, and especially around the front of the net, where he was not going to let a star get positioned in front of him in front. He does not look like that every night. No doubt. In fact, very rarely. I think he's pretty good every night. Is he... I almost want to call him dominant for that performance. I thought shift to shift, he looked dominant. We don't see that a lot from him yet. But there's a game where I think... Go watch that game back and watch him away from the puck. Watch just him. And if you just glue yourself to Power, I did that a lot last night, being in the crowd. You're able to do that easier, I know. I was very impressed with Power's game. I thought it was his best game of the season. It's easy to say that after he had 3 points, right? 3 apples on the night. But I do think even without the assists, it was his best game. And the assists obviously make it, a whole lot better. So best player, I thought, on the ice. And at some point, I'm still thinking he's going to take that Hedman leap. Maybe not to the exact degree of Hedman where he's a Norris winner, but maybe just 80% of that would be nice. And next year is when it happened for Hedman, year 5. Maybe Power jumps the gun a little bit early. Maybe he was able to do that in year 4. All right, that's going to do for us today here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Next up for the Sabres is a home game again, 1 o'clock, Saturday matinee game against the Red Wings. So, can only hope, right? Detroit on Saturday. We will talk Jack Quinn this week on the show because I wonder what they're going to do with him. If he might be in line to be a healthy scratch again. We'll dive in. We took more of a deep dive on Cozens last week. I want to take a little more of a deep dive on Quinn to start this year, comparing last year to this year to his first year. What's happening right now with Quinn? I'm actually planning to watch some of these couple last games back and just watch him play to play because I think something's going on with him. And I don't know that it's just injury because last year he was injured and he played great in the games he played. So try to figure out what's going on with Jack Quinn this week. If you got a comment or a question, mailbag edition or segment of the show will be this week as well as we get you to Saturday when the Sabres will play the Red Wings. So we'll talk to you next time. That's what's in store for you. If you want to check something else out, Locked On Bills, getting you ready for Bills and Seahawks coming later this week. Also, Locked On Fantasy Hockey. If you're not getting that advice for your fantasy hockey leagues, you're missing out. Steal and Flip got their daily tips for you to set your lineups and make the right waiver decisions and whatnot there. Thanks for listening today to the Locked On Sabres podcast and making us your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.